So I'm glad you're back, and we're going to continue our conversation about dangerous assumptions. This one being talking about how we tear ourselves down if we're not careful on how we frame that information of the unknown, right? On what we know to be true and what we don't yet know to be true. And so I want to do that by telling you a story. I was talking to a woman not so long ago, and she was sharing about her experience where she was part of a community where these women would get together every 6 months. And she says, I just don't think I'm going to do it anymore. And I said, well, why is that? She says, well, when I go, and especially when it's time to go and eat, I go into the room where everybody's eating, all the women are sitting in groups. They're just so cliquey, right? This was it. They were cliquey. And I said to her, I said, oh, okay, so you tell me you do this every 6 months. Is it the same for them? And she says, well, yeah. I said, okay, had it occurred to you that maybe those women weren't being cliquey, they were just really excited to be together and they were catching up and having conversation? And she said, no, I didn't think of it that way. And I said, okay, well, did you ask to pull up a chair and sit with them? Did they tell you no? And she says, no, I didn't think to do that. And see, there's the assumption. What we know to be true is all the women were in the same place. What we don't know to be true is, well, why was she not in the chair? And so I call that the assumption selfie, right? Where we take a selfie and then we evaluate the world around us. And oftentimes in that selfie, the frame for that selfie is our own beliefs about ourselves. See, what was happening here is a reflection of what's already going on the inside. This idea of being lonely, this idea of being disconnected, this belief that our friendship is not wanted. And can you imagine the opportunity for this woman if she would have just said, hey, can I pull up a chair? She would have learned that her friendship was welcomed and she would have left in better condition, but instead she left still reflecting the same things she already believed. And these are destructive things. And remembering what's inherent in a dangerous assumption is it's not only destructive, and in this case it was not only to herself, but it was divisive, where it kept her isolated from community and relationship. And God knows that's what we need, right? We need relationship with people. And so as we do go into these places where others are and we interpret it, let's be careful on how we frame that, how we approach that. And in fact, that's what we're going to talk about next, is how do we frame the picture that we're using as our view for these assumptions that's bridging the gap between what we know to be true and what we don't yet know to be true. So I hope you'll join me next week. Have a great week.